WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Oh, boy, we talk CWS,
Yeah.
College World Series, Road to Omaha.
You got it.
NBA Finals.
Yep.
Heating up. A little game more action there. And now we got to talk
Yeah.
UFC 289, getting back into your wheelhouse. And I
Yeah.
understand you have a parlay for us at the end of this
Everybody's
one.
been waiting. It's this segment.
Here we go. Now, this is going to take place Saturday, June 10th, the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Hey, Canada,
Heading back to Canada. This is the 32nd time they've welcomed them to Canada. And this one, a little bit of a curveball. This was set as Amanda Nunes. You know, you're big on her. You're really,
sure.
You know, she's a lot of fun. But this was supposed to be Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena 3. You know, everyone remembers Pena, you know, doing that submission in round 2.
Amanda comes back, you know, beats the crap out of her, and this was supposed to end it all. This was supposed to be the trilogy fight.
Right.
But as you know, Juliana Pena comes broken ribs.
Yeah, she pulled out of this fight due to broken ribs she might have sustained on May 2nd. I think that happened in training.
For sure.
So this kind of got thrown on its head a little bit. Irene Aldana is going to take on Nunes here. And, you know, Aldana was supposed to take on Pennington in an upcoming fight night.
Yeah.
That got scrapped. She stepped up. And we also have a really good undercard here in Oliveira and Dariush. But let's start a little further down the card here. Danny Inge, one of you guys you're big on, versus Nate Landwehr. 2 Americans squaring off here, and you got Inge, the number 13 ranked competitor in the world in the featherweight weight class at a minus 250. Big time favorite here.
Yeah, Danny Inge hopes for a more positive result in favor this weekend after losing 3 straight fights. The 31-year-old Hawaiian got back in the win column with a second-round knockout last time out back in January. That being said, on the other side, Nate Landwehr heads up north of the border with a 3-win fighting streak, Andy.
Okay.
He earned Performance of the Night and a majority win decision. You know, in his last 2 fights, it's not going to be easy for Inge here to string together back-to-back wins. Landwehr is like, you know, a nonstop bullet train, averaging 6.47 significant strikes per minute. Inge is a solid grappler too, but Inge is going to have to put on a really, really
And Landwehr's he's at plus
performance.
200 right now.
For
He's a
sure.
big underdog. So if you do like Landwehr, I mean, there's some value there for you. And the way I'm breaking down what you were saying is this is more of a coin flip than it is such a heavy favorite on this.
No, exactly, Andy. And like we said, Landwehr has momentum on his side and is motivated to finally crack that top 15 in the featherweight division. If he can keep his distance from Inge, positive results will come. Give me that plus 200 to win outright.
Ooh.
I think Landwehr gets it over Danny.
We are starting with an upset rate, 88 out the gate. I will say this about Landwehr, just looking up and down the stat sheet here. His grappling appears to be superior with a much greater takedown accuracy and takedown defense. He also averages way more submissions per minute. Maybe that's just not Inge's game, but that's definitely going to be part of what Landwehr is going to be throwing at him.
Yeah, no doubt, Andy. And I like I said, this should be a coin flip line as it is, but Nate Landwehr has momentum, and that plus 200 is just too juicy for me not to go after it. So give me Nate Landwehr.
Landwehr it is. Should we move on up the card?
Let's do it.
Talked about how this is a co-main event.
Yes.
Charles Oliveira is back. He's not injured. He did have to pull out of that last event. He is back now. That is the number 1 contender in the lightweight division, taking on Beneil Dariush, the number 4 contender from the United States. And this opened up as basically a coin flip. You're looking at minus 110, minus 110. But Dariush has taken a slight edge here. What are you looking at? Minus 120, 140?
Yeah, anywhere from minus 120 to minus 145 is what I'm seeing. Oliveira on the flip side at a plus 155 to win this. As you know, fight week goes on, you could open up a little bit more as more money is pouring in on Dariush for good reason. Some interesting prop betting lines are available as well. The under 2.5 rounds is at -180, which makes sense with Oliveira's style of fighting. Oliveira is to win inside the distance is at a +180 only, Andy. So, and that proves not to be worth the risk if his money line is already at +155. So, it doesn't make sense to take that extra, risk if you can already get it for +155 if you're on Du Bronx Oliveira. I would say just please take time to look through all available lines on this one, Andy, because this could go back in Charles's way if people start throwing money on that +155 because not too long ago this was one of the most exciting fighters in all of UFC. This guy could not be touched for 4 or 5 straight title defenses. So everybody is kind of forgetting Charles Oliveira here, but it's with good reason. I believe it's Dariush's time. Yeah. I believe he gets his hand raised on Saturday night. It's just his time. He has proven himself for years now, and he might be the only answer to knocking down Islam Makhachev on the championship totem pole. I think he might be the only guy in the division that can beat Islam. So this is his first fight to get to that. So give me Dariush. It's gonna be a tough fight. Yeah. It's gonna be a tough fight, but I believe that he's scrappy enough to get it, and it's gonna have to be against Charles Oliveira.
Well, and Oliveira might be running into something here that he doesn't want to see, and that I think grappling's always been a big part of Oliveira's style. Dariush, though, he is phenomenal at grappling, especially when you're talking about his defense maneuvers. Yeah. He's at an 80% takedown defense. And if Oliveira, he's not going to be able to club, he's not going to be able to swing like he likes to, or, he's going to have to go to the mat or try to go to the mat like he always does. And it's just not going to happen for him here against this young stud, this up-and-comer, as you're saying. And that's probably why the books are starting to lean towards Beneil Dariush.
Yeah. Oliveira's best chance to win this fight is, just being crazy from the opening bell. He needs to lead Dariush into a wild, high-pack fight with wild scrambles on the ground, knockdowns, and exchanges and strikes. That's really how Charles wins fights. He gets people swinging, gets knocked down a few times, and then he lulls them into a submission. That's how Charles wins fights. Dariush, he joins Oliveira as one of the most dominant lightweights with an 8-fight winning streak on his own coming into this weekend. He trains at King's MMA in California. I just really think that it's his time. He's gonna win this fight, and then he's gonna be fighting Islam for that title.
And we mentioned he's no slouch. You just mentioned the streak that he's on. He's number 4 contender in the world. It just might be his time. And Oliveira's coming off an injury. Yeah, I mean, all these little things start to add up, especially with a guy that has about 40 fights under his belt.
For sure, he's been here for a while, and he's been really good. Dariush on the other side, 22-4-1 in his professional career, but only has 5 TKOs, Andy, and 8 submissions, bringing in a much more calculated fight plan to Cage compared to his counterpart. Like I said, the craziness that is Charles Oliveira. So if he keeps it on the rails, Dariush is what I'm saying. He's going to win this fight. If he gets a little crazy, that's where Du Bronx Oliveira can really do damage.
Yeah. How many times have you seen him just pounce and get that submission?
Exactly. And after everybody has already thought the fight was done, he's knocked out. No, if you go after him, he can get you in one of those tricky spots, and that's where Beneil, I think, is going to figure it out and get his hand raised on Saturday.
There we go. Okay, all right. I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
All right, so we move on.
Let's do it.
The main event.
Let's do it.
Hailing from Brazil, Amanda Nunes has taken on Irene Aldana. We talked about how Irene's put in a really tough spot here. She's the number 5 contender in the world. No jokes. She's no slouch in this bantamweight class. But, I mean, she's coming in as a plus 265 underdog. Yeah. Nunes minus 320. So just your straight-up odds are not very good value.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, like you said, Aldana, who has been on a tear with KO, TKO wins in 3 of her last 4 fights, this one isn't going to be close, Andy.
It's a different animal.
Outside of a close fight with Valentina Shevchenko, which is one of the best fighters in the world, we've only seen Nunes look human once in her whole career, and that was when she lost the belt to Juliana Pena. Nunes has recently dealt with COVID heading into that fight, and absolutely mauling her in the rematch. So really struck that one from the record, I think. Yeah. Nunes' well-roundedness is probably what makes her the most dangerous, and that's an issue for Aldana. Just 3 fights ago, she was taken down 5 times and gave up over 5 minutes of control time. And Amanda is drooling at that fact, Andy. Yeah. When she gets you to the ground, it's night time. So, and when Nunes faces a game striker, she's not shy about leaning on her grappling either. So everybody thinks of her as this big, thing that can knock you out, in which she's going to, but she can still rely on that grappling to get to that point. So as I mentioned, I see the easiest, path to victory for Amanda is her grappling. Yeah. But right now with the odds, I see a KO TKO by Amanda Nunes at a plus 140, Andy.
Ooh, okay.
So that is some value bet in this fight that doesn't have a lot of value to it. Yeah. Amanda is going to knock this chick out. She might get her to the ground and grapple her a little bit, but it's going to end up with a knockout, hammer fist to the head. Amanda gets her arm raised again.
Yeah, I think Aldana coming out of Mexico, I think she got put in a really tough spot. Credit to her for stepping up. And once again, everyone putting it together to keep this card on the mend in Rogers Arena, Vancouver. A lot of Canucks on the card.
No, it's very fun for Canadians.
It's going to be fun, but you do feel like Nunes is going to take care of business in a big way here in your main event.
Exactly. And one more nugget, Andy. Amanda Nunes by submission is at a plus 500 right now. So if you want to throw a little bit on that, it's at a plus 500, which could easily happen. Yes, I do see the KO happening more likely. Obviously, that's why the odds are a lot better with the submission. So if you want to go after submission at that plus 500, throw a little bit on that, but I'm going with the knockout.
All righty. How about a parlay play on UFC 289, Jabron?
Okay, I'm just doing the 2-teamer.
Oh, just a 2-teamer.
Yep.
Okay.
Nate Landwehr taking that underdog. DraftKings, he's at a plus 215 right now. Okay. Amanda Nunes to win by KO at a plus 140. Like I said, the total parlay, putting $25 on it to win 157. You can't beat that value.
Wow.
It's a 2-teamer. Like I said, only has to hit twice, and I believe this has a very good chance at hitting.
And you really talked me into Landwehr. I know he's at a plus 200 straight up underdog here, but after kind of walking through it looks like he might be going one way, and Danny Ends going the other way.
No doubt. And it's hard, that top 15.
It's hard to argue a knockout here from Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, it's going to happen. The Lioness is going to knock her out. Just really hope Nate can get it done.
I think you're onto something there, Jabron.
Thank you.
Well, that'll about do it for us this week on WTL. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radios. We're all over their social media accounts and Twitter. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has been.
The short videos, the feature-length videos, everything under the sun. We've been having a lot of fun. And watching that channel grow, that's been cool as well. Thank you
been a lot of fun
that have subscribed to that and been checking us out there. And also, don't forget to receive our daily free picks over on TikTok. You're holding down the fort over there.
Yeah.
Mr. TikTok King. Parlay Pounder / TikTok King.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the handle.
For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.